Are they going to draft like a wonderkin? I don't know. That's crazy. I mean, he still has obviously a decent defense, and the running back core is pretty good. The offensive line is still pretty good, but he's a passing quarterback. So it'll be interesting to me to see who is the starting wide receiver unit.
Good point.
Well, we'll start with I'll start with the Packers side just real quick. I mean, the Raiders acquired Adams for a first and second round pick for the Packers, so they do get an additional first and second.
They get a shot.
And this is a good draft class. And again, this is almost a yearly thing though now. So this is a good draft class in terms of wide receiver talent. That being said, currently on the roster, Rodgers only has either unproven players like Amari Rodgers, or maybe they bring back MVS. I don't know if they do. And then you have like broken down players, and I hate saying that, but Randall Cobb is broken down. So it's just like he doesn't have a guy. And then, he still has to, you look at how good Devante Adams is, and obviously he got good, but like, obviously this was last year was like year 8 with Rodgers, where they were simpatico and they were mind meld. Like, it takes time and just, to build a bond to do that. And let's say it takes 4 years for even like a guy, like maybe if they get Chris Olave from Ohio State, it'll still take 3 to 4 years to build something like what he had with Devante Adams. By that point, Rodgers is 41?
Yeah.
And he's done.
Yeah, but could they not get a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, right out of the box, some super stud who is out there and can make it go?
Definitely they can, but we just also have to remember, in the same class that Justin Jefferson was, a team that could have had Justin Jefferson in the Philly, and this guy can still turn around, so I don't want to completely crap on it, but at least what he's done production-wise, they can get Jalen Reagor, who the Eagles got. And that's the thing is, yes, like you look at the Vikings got rid of Stephon Diggs, and it was one of those weird win-wins where Stephon Diggs really helped take the Buffalo offense to the next level. And they got Justin Jefferson, who had the best rookie season until Jamar Chase came in the next year.
Right.
So it's not improbable, but like, again, you're rolling the dice where Devante Adams, you already know what you have. Obviously it's going to cost a high value, since Devante Adams signed a 5-year, $141.25 million deal, which makes him the highest paid wideout in the league now. And Adams says he decided on Vegas because he dreamed about playing for the Raiders, and he wanted to play with Derek Carr again, who he played with at Fresno State.
Yep.
That part I believe.
I do too.
I'm not saying I don't believe, but that money, it doesn't really hurt.
No, and I don't think it's an anti-Rodgers as much it's a pro-Adams, and this is what he kind of wanted to do and get the real money. So, okay.
Yeah. And also, as you look at now the Raiders, I don't know if it's the best way to build a team, but at least for next year, they have Devante Adams, they have Darren Waller, tight end, and they have Hunter Renfrow as their slot receiver. And you look at what Josh McDaniels done with pieces like that. Obviously Hunter Renfrow will be like his Julian Edelman, and then Darren Waller will be like his Aaron Hernandez or kind of Gronk-ish player. And then you have Devante Adams essentially being, I guess, his Randy Moss to a degree. Obviously he's not that talent caliber, but even on some level, Devante Adams is even more versatile. I'm not going to say he's not as good as athlete as Randy Moss, but he's maybe more versatile in how he can be utilized. So it's a good win for the Raiders. That being said, that division is so full of talent that I still don't know if they make the playoffs. That's the craziest thing.
They're going to have their own Pro Bowl over there, I think, AFC West.
Speaking of Julian Edelman, he was working out with Tom Brady this week. So is he going to be at Tampa Bay? Is he coming out, So
the Packers could draft a Jamar Chase, or they could get a Kevin White. You historians look that one up. Wow.
I think I'm not saying they don't have other needs, but since they have those 2 extra draft picks, I think at least one of their first round picks or the Raiders first round pick, and then one of their second round. They just need to double up. Like, that's the thing, is they need at least 2 wide receivers. because maybe they can have two talented receivers that kind of replace to some degree what one talented receiver Devante Adams had.
And Scanlon's gone, right?
I haven't seen yet if he's signed anywhere, but if this was not a good free agency draft market for wide receivers. So like Scanlon's going to probably get decent money.
That's it. Yeah. Or he's got Randall Cobb still there. Hello?
Yeah.
Randall, anybody? Randall?
Lugs has grown center to right.
Cobb. All right, let's talk about Al Michaels. Go ahead, Lugs.
Okay. Yeah, Al Michaels.
How about you?
But where will we see him? Do I have to have Amazon Prime?
Yes.
That's the only place? Okay.
Yep. Free shipping, and you'll get a tea set or a cutting board set in the mail.
Charcuterie board?
Charcuterie board after the first game. Charcuterie available now and he's going to be with Kirk Herbstreit. Yes.
I was going to say
that.
He and Herbie. See, I didn't like Herbie on college game day, so I don't know what to think of he and Al Michaels together. So
and Collinsworth stays with Tirico on Sunday night, and Joe and Troy are over at ESPN on Monday night, and I don't know what channel I'll be watching anymore. But Al Michaels goes from, do you believe in miracles to hucking for Jeff Bezos. I don't know. T-Dog, thoughts on that?
I mean, his promos will at least be for like shows that are maybe interesting, like the Fabulous Miss Maisel or the Marvelous Miss Maisel, instead of some of the programming that I mean, that's the thing is like, man, you want to talk about like hefty work. Some of the programming on NBC year in, year out, where it's like La Brea, where it's
that's right.
People falling through the tar pit and like going into like a Land of the Lost. I mean, essentially they lifted from Land of the Lost, a bad child show from the 1970s. They're like, the Slee Stacks and stuff. I don't know.
Slee Stacks. I forgot about the Slee Stacks. Yes, look that one up too. We got a lot of research that needs to be done here.
So he at least has that, and he has maybe they do another season of Man on the High Castle. I don't know. Or at least it shows people watch.
Collinsworth would slide in and say, I can't wait to watch that one, Al. After the promo, and there'd be all this dead air and go, that's Monday night on NBC.
Hey, maybe Al could take a ride on Blue Origin,
Maybe so. Maybe that was a big part of it.
Maybe he'll call the game from there for the 11 minutes they're actually in space. He could call that's not even a quarter. All right, what else you got any sports of yesteryear today?
I believe we do.
All right, hang on. Let's go ahead and roll that. It's Sports of Yesteryear. He's our man out and about. He's out and about, and he's out. He's about, as they would say in Canada. Here's Lugs with Sports of Yesteryear.
All right, gang. 1958, 20th NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Kentucky beats Seattle 84-72. Seattle's future Hall of Fame small forward Elgin Baylor is named tournament MVP. 1964 LPGA Western Open. Carol Mann wins her first of two major titles by 2 shots. 1967 Muhammad Ali KOs Zora Foley in 7 rounds to take the heavyweight boxing title. 1972 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar named NBA MVP. Our local guy, Mike Grosso, didn't quite make the cut, but, he was there. Anyway, 1989, Pete Rozelle announces retirement as NFL commissioner after 29 years. And 1997, Ladies Figure Skating Championship in Lausanne, won by USA's Tara Lipinski. That is Sports of Yesteryear, and you needed to know this stuff.
Indeed you do. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I think Grosso, friend of the show, friend of the family, friend of us, used to call him just big fella, didn't he?
Yeah, he'd call him anytime.
I walked into that. Well, just get rid of that little line of copy right there. Yeah. I think, okay, quick story. Mike Grosso, U of L, played for the Milwaukee Bucks, but before that, the Pittsburgh Condors. And he said that was in the old ABA? He said he'd show up at a game and pull up to the players' lot, and the guy would stop him and say, "You can't park here." He'd tell him, I'm a player. Number one, number two. He would show up at the game, and there'd be more people working the game than actually in the game.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, one of my favorite Grosso stories is that when he
Pittsburgh
was
Condors. Look them up.
when he was a rookie, or his first year at the Bucks, he had to guard John Havlicek,
Oh
who
my
was famous
gosh.
for not having sweat glands. And so he said the guy wasn't sweating at all, and he was just everywhere all at once. So Grosso got kind of beat up, and actually Jabbar, then Lou Alcindor, was laughing at Grosso on the bench. So that's when Grosso told me that story.
Good stuff. All right, T-Dog, you had some other NFL news and notes, I believe. Yes.
Yep. Just to, I guess, wrap up my at least free agency
Yes.
talk is two big winners in terms of teams, not just individuals. I would just say the Bengals. Everyone said, Joe Burrow was sacked 70 times and 133 hits last year.
Ouch.
70 times. So what do they do in free agency? They had Ted Karras at center. They had Alex Kappa at guard, and they had Leo Collins, the Cowboys' right tackle. These moves should strengthen the most glaring hole on the team. And the other thing that's nice for Collins is already familiar with Frank Pollock, this Cincinnati's offensive line coach, because he coached in Dallas. And now they can just really kind of focus their draft and their free agency on upgrading their pass rush and corner. I think other than that, I mean, most of their team is locked up. And then the other team on the other side of the ball, the Chargers, they added Khalil Mack, obviously, in that trade.
Yep.
They for their pass rush. So they have someone opposite Joey Bosa. They had J.C. Jackson, who's probably the top free agent in corner. So that gives Staley essentially, I guess, his quasi Jalen Ramsey at corner. And they added Austin Johnson because they're awful against the run. Austin Johnson is a great run stuffer. And they added Sebastian Joseph Day for some interior pressure. And also he can help on the run. I mean, again, we kind of already touched on this with the Raiders. AFC West is without a doubt the toughest division, followed very closely by the AFC North. And I don't think it's even close after those two.
What is the worst division?
What's the woeful?
Yeah, woeful. Well, worst, woeful, least.
NFC East.
No damn good.
I think Lugs might have been right. It's that one.
AFC
I don't
South.
know. AFC East is
Rough.
not that great too outside of Buffalo. I don't know. I think you're probably right that it's NFC East because I like Mike McDaniels and I'm interested to see what he does with Dolphins. I like kind of some of the moves they made, and I even kind of like some of the moves the Jets made. I think the Patriots got worse, so they maybe fall back, but I don't think they'll be bad. So I think you're right. I think it is the NFC. I think it is the NFC East.
All right, let's talk.
I mean,
I
quarterback.
don't know. Actually, the NFC North won't be that great either when you really think about it.
No.
So it might be the NFC North. I now that the more I think about it now, particularly without Devante Adams, I don't know who the hell Aaron Rodgers is going to throw to. It's going to be Aaron Jones out of the backfield like 14 times in the game. So maybe it is the North or the AFC South. There's like it's the East, NFC East, NFC North, AFC South.
South.
They're all I think they're all competing. I think it might be the NFC North now that we're kind of talking about it. So
We'll make a note of that. Let's talk a little NCAA Sweet 16. Both the men's and women's are now in the Sweet 16. Here's a little tidbit. In the pregame show before the Auburn-Miami game, Auburn great Charles Barkley said he'd take off his shirt. Well, Coach Jim Larinaga of Miami said, I was tuned into that game, the game before us, and I listened to Charles Barkley tell CBS if Auburn won, you remember Barkley's an Auburn great, he would take off his shirt. And Larinaga said, I thought to myself, man, no one wants to see that, Chuck. So Miami went out and beat number 2 Auburn 79-61 handily in the second round. So Sweet 16 time for both men and women, and Charles Barkley kept his shirt on. What do you guys, how do you like the tournament so far?
Oh, it's been cool. There have been obviously some crazy
games.
My Tar Heels actually beat Baylor.
Crazy is right.
They,
The defending
Baylor
champ.
came back from a 25-point deficit and still missed 10 of 11 free throws in overtime. That's why they lost. But I'm glad the Heels are still in it.
I will say that was one of the few games I did watch, Lugs, and I have to say, I'm particularly glad that Tar Heels won because